So somebody sent me a link to this article from The Verge. The year Instagram became Facebook. And this sounds pretty interesting. By the way, greetings to, shout out to Shabam Malat, who sent me the link. There you go. There's your shout out. By the way, if you have some interesting topics or articles or videos that you would like me to go over, or just something that you want me to cover, just drop me a DM. And if it's actually cool and interesting, I will gladly give you what you've probably been waiting for since the day you were born, and something that you could write actually into your resume, I guess. A shout out from me. The year Instagram became Facebook, and going into this whole thing, I have to say a few words. Instagram still is one of the hottest platforms ever, okay? Don't forget that. It seems like people love to forget that and just focus on the negative sides. You know, for example, me, I made a few videos about why Instagram is bad or what could be bad about Instagram, obviously. Don't get too discouraged about this whole thing. There's still people growing organically like crazy on Instagram. There's still people making a living on Instagram with actually probably not that many followers, and if you have a lot of followers, probably it's even easier. So don't forget that. Needless to say, something flying here, needless to say, if I still feel like this hat's making me crazy. What the f is that? Can I just hide this? Looking into my eyes all the time. Is it inside? I think it's inside. How can I prove it that it's actually inside? It's inside. It's inside. It just flew away. Okay, needless to say, there's some critique points about Instagram, and I quickly skimmed through this article. Yes, I have to redo the whole video because yesterday, just my whole audio setup was up. You probably heard it with the other video that I posted a few days ago. But I quickly skimmed through that, and they actually speak a lot of people's minds, and they actually say it really in a way that's not too sensational. Instagram spent much of the past 8 years fighting to maintain its independence from Facebook. In 2020, the fight was over. Instagram has rolled out a series of features that are thoroughly Facebookian in nature. They're largely focused around getting you to use the app for longer and also tend to feel messy and incomplete. And I couldn't, come on. I'm a killer. Yeah, you're gonna have to look at me in a different set of eyes right now. It's hard not to see this as the moment that Instagram succumbed to Facebook's worst tendency. A focus on growth at all costs, even if it means making a product that's less enjoyable to use. Well, you know, just the initial paragraph, I'm like, yeah, you're totally right. Especially if you take a look at the recent developments as of the last year. The whole platform kind of feels messy, if you ask me. Just think about 1 year ago. The changes are numerous. Facebook Messenger was integrated into DMs. A beat-for-beat TikTok clone was created and given its own section within the app. The primary post a photo button was tucked away into a corner, and an entire tab was given over to shopping. The most telling change was one of the less explosive ones. It was a tweak to the app's classic photo feed. Instagram now displays an endless row of algorithmically recommended posts once you get through the pictures your friends put up. This is a simple growth hack. See, Facebook injecting news stories and your friends, dad's questionable political group posts into your news feed. But it's kind of a cheap trick that Instagram had avoided for a decade. It seems plainly antithetical to a goal outlined by Instagram's founding CEO, Kevin Systrom, who said that any time spent on the app should be positive and intentional. At the time, Instagram was adding an alert that told you when you were out of new posts in the feed, which served as a gentle nudge that you might be able to close the app and move on to something else, right? And this is the first thing that's actually a huge point of critique from my side. If you take a look at all the recent developments on Instagram, they all seem kind of misaligned with Instagram's original vision, original goal of making a platform for, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to stay just a photo sharing app. You know, it's not about that at all. It's about the feel. It's about the grander vision of what Kevin Systrom had in mind. And probably he did not have any bad intentions in mind. You know, he was like, everything should be positive and intentional. And right now, if you take a look at it, it's actually not intentional at all. They try to force you to use the shopping tab. It just feels like all over the place, you know, if you ask me. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg increasingly applied pressure on Instagram over the years to, in essence, play more like Facebook, despite an initial promise to leave the company alone, as detailed in Sarah Freer's No Filter, a chronicle of Instagram's rise. What is that? The pressure culminated in Instagram's co-founders walking out the door in late 2018, when they were replaced by Adam Mosseri, our special friend over there, who previously, and this is the bombshell that everybody seems to forget all the time, who previously ran Facebook's news feed. All right, just think about, he ran Facebook newsfeed, you know, and I don't want to shit on Mosseri, you know, in general, but just think about it. Just really think about it. 2018, the founders, there was some clinch behind the scenes and they left Instagram doing something else. They completely abandoned their baby. Okay, there must have been something going on behind the scenes. All of a sudden, this new guy comes along who ran Facebook's news feed, which was, in my opinion, responsible to the downfall of Facebook. You know, at least it became what it is right now. And ever since Mosseri came, kind of Instagram had more and more like a Facebooky feel, and the algorithm. Remember what happened to Facebook back in the days. The first thing that people started noticing was, well, not all of the people who, you know, like my page can actually see my posts. Guess what's happening on Instagram? You know, maybe it has something to do with that, but who am I to tell? Behind the scenes, there was a significant shakeup of Instagram's top leadership taking place, and more orders were starting to come down from Facebook proper. The information reported last year. Growing pains, Facebook pushes Instagram to earn its keep, right? We talked about it in my video, which you should watch if you have not, about why Instagram kind of is going a very rugged way, if you ask me. Anyway, that set the stage for this year when those changes became visible to users. So think about it. The real changes that actually not a lot of people really tend to like. If you know, I talked to a lot of you guys actually and asked in the DMs and stuff like this whether you like the changes or not. There's not a lot of people that told me that they actually love it. So yeah, the home screen layout, which aside from the addition of story bubbles at the top, had largely stayed unchanged since Instagram's founding, has been shuffled around to make room for two new initiatives. The most notable of those, Reels, is a TikTok rip-off with no original ideas that's purely meant to crush an innovative and competing product. There you go. The first shot's fired. But is it really shots fired, or is it, you know, honest criticism? Because just think about that. Facebook, along with Instagram right now, are the most influential companies in the world. People are like, okay, well, they're private companies, you know, just leave Facebook and Instagram alone. For example, speaking about freedom of speech and stuff, they're like, well, they're private companies, they could do whatever they want. Yeah, right. But then again, are they really private companies anymore, or are they something new, some total new form of company, entity, or government mix up or something, you know what I mean? So yeah, the other addition, the shop tab, presents an underwhelming array of product posts in a way that mixes the confusion of a Pinterest page with the blandness of Google shopping ads. I could have not said this better. They always say a lot of people use shopping in the shopping tab. I have actually never used the shopping tab before in my whole life. I've talked to some people, not a lot of people actually have. I love to shop around on Instagram and see some stuff, and I actually sometimes think the ads that I get there are super relevant and actually not so bad. But, you know, if I find something, I Google it separately. I don't know about you, let me know in the comments. But, you know, directly on Instagram, I don't know. We're probably not there yet. And why should we, you know? Why should we? Because of that. Because they push Instagram to earn its keep, to have people stay on the platform, to use the shopping tab, because then they earn more revenue. None of this is to say Instagram has been ruined. Yeah, and this is the thing that I always want to say. No, you know, don't get too caught up on us and YouTubers or other people speaking badly about Instagram, which, yeah, we have to say it, and I just have to say I have to speak my mind and say my opinion about things. But then again, like I said, it's still one of the hottest platforms. It's still possible to grow organically, which if you want to, by the way, there's a free training down below walking you over how to grow at least 1,000 followers, you know, just by doing this training. And probably you're going to be growing followers while you go through this training if you do some work while you watch it. Now, the app has always been testing with brands and influencers. Stories had ruthlessly sidelined Snapchat as the hot new app years ago, and Instagram's aesthetic has long since gone from cultural phenomenon to ubiquitous niche. It's still fun to look through your friends' photos, and the new features aren't strictly bad. Reels offers creators another avenue to promote their work, and shopping is an obvious, if undercooked, addition to Instagram. Yeah, there's the thing. There is some... We have to give them that. They always try to innovate. They always try to reinvent the wheel. Not really, because they usually just take what already works, which is not a bad thing also. You know, for example, if you were starting to grow a personal brand. If you were like, okay, I want to make money with who I am with something on social media, obviously you're going to have to do some competitor research, check what other people are doing, if it works or not, and then just kind of take it for you and make it work. All right, this is nothing bad, but still the way that they do it, it kind of doesn't feel like Instagram anymore. And this is kind of what they say in the next paragraph. The difference is that so many of Instagram's prior changes felt like Instagram, and I have to wholeheartedly agree with that. In 2020, the changes felt like new services shoehorned into Instagram so that the moment we got bored, we could find our next distraction without closing the app. If that feels familiar, maybe it's because that's what Facebook does too. This year, Instagram didn't just build more services, its service started to demanding for them. And this is the thing right here. I mean, you know, it's not necessarily only bad, for example, for them to, whenever you run out of posts, to see that they suggest you new ones, because that was one thing that I always critiqued on about Instagram, that the organic growth potential is not really there. You know, it's not even close to what YouTube has to offer, for example, or, you know, TikTok has to offer. Now with the Reels, we're getting there, and also with them actually trying to keep you on the platform, suggesting you new posts, similar posts that you might like. So it's not only what they say, you know, bad because they try to have you on the platform for longer, but maybe it's actually good for us creators because they're just another, you know, stream of getting your content seen by other people. So what can I say about this article? First of all, I wanted to make a very similar video based around that topic already. And then somebody sent me this and I was like, well, I can't say better than they do, because there are certainly things that are not running right. Does it mean that it's very much wrong? Does it mean that Instagram is going to go the same path as Facebook? Chances are actually high, especially if you see that Mosseri, Instagram CEO, you know, came over from kind of the ruined platform that maybe even he helped to ruin in the sense of, you know, for creators and stuff like this. Obviously, Facebook is still a very great platform, especially for ads. You know, if you ask me, still pretty great. Another thing, what I think why they tried to push so many changes upon us in 2020 is that maybe because of the whole pandemic situation, they were like, yeah, now more people are at home and more people have a lot more time on their hands than ever before. And they're probably a lot more on their phones. So why not try to push everything towards them? Because this year we're going to get as much data as probably in usually 3 years or something like this. Maybe this is what they do. Maybe this is what they had in mind initially. And maybe it's not even a bad thing if we take a look at the long term. Because like I said, of course, there's a lot of smart people. Sometimes it sounds like that when I speak about Instagram or something like that, that they're completely out of the right, which they sometimes are. But there's still a very, very smart people behind the scenes, and they probably have a lot grander ideas than we can even think about. But let me know in the comments, do you feel like Instagram is becoming too much like Facebook? Do you feel like they have lost their initial feel? Because here's the thing, about 2 years ago, I made a video where I already started talking about that. And it feels like the contrast from then to now is even greater. So maybe it's a thing that we people just like to say when things are changing, or maybe it's actually true. So let me know in the comments down below. My name is Dominic. Yeah, I'll see you guys later. I don't know which day it is. Maybe it's Christmas. You know, if it is, probably today, tomorrow. Happy Christmas if you're one of those guys. If not, happy Dominic Day.